Life lessons you need to learn before it's too late. Life is brief, fragile, and constantly moving forward. You do not own tomorrow, and yesterday will never return. The only moment you truly possess is now. Yet many live as if their days are endless, wasting them in distraction, resentment, and fear. The wise person knows that the clock is always ticking, and that is not a cause for despair, but for urgency in living well. The first lesson is to master what you can control and release what you cannot. The storms of life will come: loss, betrayal, illness, failure, but no wind can uproot a soul anchored in virtue. If you spend your energy trying to change events that are beyond your reach, you will drown in frustration. Focus instead on your own reason, your actions, your character. That is where your true power lies. The second lesson is to value time more than possessions. A lost coin can be earned again, but a wasted hour can never be returned. How many of your days have been traded for petty arguments, empty entertainment, or chasing the approval of others? Guard your hours as you would guard a treasure chest. Use them for learning, for serving, for building what will outlast you. The third lesson is to embrace hardship as a teacher. The world does not exist to make you comfortable. It exists to make you strong. Pain reveals what is weak in you. Loss shows you what truly matters, and difficulty shapes endurance. Do not curse the challenges you face. They are the grindstone that sharpens your soul. The fourth lesson is to live with integrity, even when no one is watching. Reputation is what others think you are. Character is what you truly are. You can deceive people, but you cannot deceive your own conscience. Choose the hard right over the easy wrong, for the person you become will be the one you must live with forever. And finally, remember that death is not the enemy. It is the natural end of the journey. To fear it is to fear the very condition of life itself. Let the awareness of your mortality push you toward purpose, gratitude, and courage. If you knew your days were few, how differently would you love, speak, and act? Live that way now because your days are few, whether you admit it or not. Focus only on what you can control and release what you cannot. Inner peace comes from mastering your thoughts, actions, and character, not from controlling external events. To live well, you must understand the boundary between what is yours to command and what is forever beyond your reach. The mind often wages war against reality, demanding that events unfold according to its wishes. Yet the truth is unchanging. You have control over your thoughts, your choices, your actions, and nothing more. The weather will change without your permission. People will speak and act as they wish, not as you desire. Fortune will rise and fall, often without warning. If you make your peace conditional on these things, you will never find it, for you have tied your happiness to a ship that drifts wherever the winds carry it. The wise understand that the heart's anchor must be set in what is steady, and the only steady ground is the realm of your own will. You cannot dictate what storms will come, but you can choose how to meet them. You cannot stop the words of the critic, but you can decide whether they will pierce your spirit or fall harmlessly aside. You cannot prevent loss, but you can choose whether it leaves you bitter or makes you more compassionate. This discipline is not born overnight. It is learned through daily practice by refusing to waste energy on what is not yours, and by directing all effort to what is. When you catch yourself worrying about the opinion of others, remind yourself that their thoughts belong to them, not to you. When you find your heart growing restless over the future, remember that tomorrow has not yet come, and when it does, it will bring what it must. You cannot bend the world to your will, but you can bend your will to meet the world, and when you do, you discover a strange and liberating truth. The more you release your grip on what you cannot control, the stronger your grasp becomes on your own peace. You stop being a prisoner of chance and become the master of your own response. No insult can wound you, no change in fortune can unseat you, no fear of what may come can chain you. This is not cold indifference, it is the highest form of freedom. It allows you to meet both triumph and disaster with the same steady gaze. It frees you from the chaos of chasing what was never yours to hold. It teaches you to stand firm in the midst of the storm, not because the storm has ceased, but because you have learned to be unmoved by it. And when life brings its inevitable sorrows, you will not break, for you will have built your house upon the one foundation that cannot be shaken, your own reasoned choice, your own steadfast heart. Value time over possessions. Time is the most precious resource. Once lost, it can never be regained. Time is the most precious possession you will ever have, yet it is the one most carelessly spent. You guard your money, you protect your possessions, but your hours slip away unnoticed, poured into trivial pursuits, petty disputes, and mindless distractions. Every day is a coin from a finite purse, and no one knows how many remain. You may earn back wealth lost in a failed investment, but you will never earn back the afternoon wasted in idleness, or the years surrendered to chasing the approval of those who will not remember you. Life does not give notice before it ends. It simply takes what remains. That is why the wise treat each day as if it were both their first and their last full of opportunity, yet fragile enough to vanish without warning. To value time means to give it only to what matters most: the cultivation of virtue, the strengthening of the mind, the service of others, and the pursuit of what will endure beyond your years. It means choosing to learn rather than to gossip, to build rather than to squander, to speak words that uplift rather than complain about what cannot be changed. It means asking yourself each morning whether your use of the coming hours will leave your soul richer or poorer when the sun sets. Many people live as though time is endless, as though they can postpone the work of living well until some distant day when life is calmer, easier, more certain. But that day never comes. The path ahead will always be uncertain, and the time for virtue, courage, and purpose is always now. To delay is to gamble with the only thing you cannot replace. And what of those who say they have no time? Often it is not the lack of time that chains them, but the misuse of it, scattering their attention across tasks that do not matter, filling their days with busyness that produces nothing of value. When you begin to see each day as a gift entrusted to you by the hand of fate, you will spend it differently. You will weigh each activity against the question: does this bring me closer to the life I am meant to live, or does it draw me away from it? The truth is that your life is not measured in years, but in the careful, intentional use of the moments you are given. When you guard your time, you guard your life itself. And when you give it freely, you will give it only to what is worthy to truth, to love, to wisdom, to deeds that echo beyond your own brief span on earth. In this way, you will come to the end not with regret over what was wasted, but with gratitude for a life fully lived. See hardship as a teacher. Challenges shape strength, reveal truth, and build resilience. Hardship is the forge in which the strength of the soul is shaped. Many seek a life without pain, without loss, without difficulty, yet such a life would produce nothing but weakness. The absence of challenge may seem like peace, but it is in truth a slow decay, for the virtues that make a person great are born only in the face of trial. Courage has no meaning without danger. Patience cannot grow without delay. Endurance cannot be forged without the weight of burden. The blows of life are not meant to destroy you, but to reveal what is within you and to burn away what is false. A ship's worth is not proven in the calm of the harbor, but in the storm that tests its hull. So, too, your soul must be tested if it is to be strong. When hardship comes, it will strip away your illusions and show you what you truly value. It will expose the shallow roots of your comfort and drive you to plant them deeper. It will remind you that your worth is not in possessions or status, for these can vanish in a moment, but in the character that remains when all else is gone. Those who fear difficulty run from the very thing that could make them wise. They spend their lives seeking ease and avoiding pain, only to find themselves brittle when the unavoidable trials arrive. But the one who accepts hardship as a teacher learns to welcome it, knowing it will leave them stronger, purer, and freer. This does not mean to rejoice in suffering for its own sake, but to see beyond it to the growth it brings. Even loss, though it wounds, can awaken gratitude for what remains and compassion for those who suffer as you do. Even failure, though it stings, can teach humility and sharpen skill. Even betrayal, though it cuts deep, can teach discernment and resilience. The wise do not waste their trials. They face them with steady resolve, extracting the lesson from the pain and allowing it to shape them into something better. In this way, hardship ceases to be an enemy and becomes an ally. It ceases to be a punishment and becomes a path to mastery. Life will never spare you from struggle, but you have the power to decide whether it will break you or build you. If you embrace it as a craftsman embraces the tools that shape his work, you will emerge refined, your soul tempered like steel. Then, when the next storm comes, you will not fear it, for you will know you have been here before and have risen stronger each time. This is the gift of hardship. It prepares you to meet the future with unshakable strength. Live with integrity at all times, true character is defined by what you do when no one is watching. Integrity is the quiet strength that holds a person together when the world tries to pull them apart. It is not a mask worn in public to gain respect, but the unseen foundation that shapes every decision, whether anyone is watching or not. Many live for reputation, polishing the image they present to others while neglecting the unseen truth of who they are. But reputation can be lost in a moment, often through no fault of your own. Integrity, however, cannot be taken from you. It can only be surrendered by your own choice. To live with integrity means to hold to what is right, even when it costs you, when the path of truth demands sacrifice, when honesty risks rejection, when loyalty demands you stand alone. It means refusing to compromise your principles for comfort, profit, or praise. This is not an easy way to live. The world offers many rewards for those willing to twist the truth, flatter the powerful, or betray their convictions. It tempts with shortcuts and whispers that the end will justify the means. But each compromise, however small, leaves a mark upon the soul, and those marks grow until the person you once were becomes unrecognizable. The strength of integrity is that it does not shift with circumstances. It holds steady whether you are surrounded by friends or abandoned, whether you are praised or condemned. It allows you to walk through life without the burden of deceit or the fear of being exposed, for you have nothing to hide. To live without integrity, on the other hand, is to live in constant unrest, always guarding against discovery, always divided within yourself. Integrity builds trust, not just with others, but within your own heart. When your words and actions align, you no longer waste energy on pretending. Your mind is clear, your conscience untroubled. Even if others misjudge you, you can stand firm in the knowledge that you have acted rightly. This inner peace is worth more than all the rewards the world can offer. It is a rare thing to meet someone whose life is whole, whose private self is no different from their public self. Such a person becomes a light in a dark place, a compass for those who have lost their way. And though they may not be celebrated in their lifetime, the strength of their character will endure long after their name is forgotten. Integrity is not something you put on when convenient. It is something you choose every moment, in small decisions as much as in great ones. Choose it now, and you will never have to look back in shame. Hold to it until the end, and you will meet your final day with a clear mind and a clean heart, knowing you have lived as a whole person. Live with mortality in mind, awareness of death should inspire urgency, purpose, and courage in life. To live with the awareness of your mortality is not to dwell in fear, but to live in truth. Every human being knows, in some distant corner of the mind, that life will end, yet most live as though that end will never come. They postpone their deepest intentions, telling themselves there will be more time to love, more time to speak the words that matter, more time to mend what is broken. But the truth is that you are not promised another sunrise. Death is not an event reserved for the distant future. It walks beside you each day, silent but certain. To ignore this fact is to live carelessly, wasting the hours on things that will not matter when the final hour strikes. When you remember that life is finite, the petty concerns that once consumed you begin to lose their power. The opinions of others, the pursuit of status, the endless chase for possessions, these fade in importance when set beside the reality that your time is limited. In their place rises a hunger to live with purpose, to pour your energy into what is lasting. The love you give, the virtues you cultivate, the truth you stand for, the good you leave behind. Awareness of death sharpens the present moment. It makes each conversation more meaningful, each gesture more intentional. You begin to speak as though these might be your last words, to act as though this might be your final day. And in doing so, you strip away the trivial and embrace what is essential. This is not a call to reckless indulgence, but to deliberate living. It is to recognize that your days are numbered and therefore infinitely valuable. It is to let gratitude replace entitlement, knowing that every breath is a gift you did not earn. Death also teaches courage, for when you accept its inevitability, you cease to be its slave. Fear of death has kept many from living fully. They shrink from risk, avoid challenge, and cling to comfort as if it could shield them from the inevitable. But once you see death as the natural conclusion of life's journey, you are free to face each day boldly. You can pursue what is right, even if it is dangerous, for no danger can prevent the fate already written for you. You can speak the truth, even if it costs you, for nothing can take from you the courage with which you live. In the end, the lesson is simple. Do not wait to live until you are near death. Live now, so that when death arrives, it finds you ready with nothing left unsaid, nothing left undone, and no regrets over a life wasted. Let the end, whenever it comes, find you alive in the fullest sense,